Now for global business updates, Rotus Oddiri joins us. Good morning, Rotus.
Good morning, Dr. Abati. Good morning, Ayo. Good morning, Rufai. Good morning to all the women out there. Happy International Women's Day. Great celebration at the Women of Impact Awards.
Some of them will probably be waiting for you.
Yeah, you started. Everybody that said hi to me, they always mention Dr. Abati. Hi is on my neck every single time. But look, this week, it's all about inflation. Actually, this number is already out. This China February inflation is already out as far as what to watch this week. South Africa GDP tomorrow. Aramco is releasing its earnings tomorrow. We get trade data from China. We get February inflation, CPI. I think Friday, Dr. Abati is also talking about PCE. That's going to be coming out. Very important to hear from Governor Andrew Bailey on Thursday. He's talking at a financial stability event in the UK. With oil pushing up prices and inflation, rising across the world, central bankers will be forced to act. So his comments are going to be parsed. Now, I will say this. I'm not sure if Nigeria's inflation will be out on Friday. It's supposed to be out on the 15th, which is on a Sunday. And so it might actually come out on Friday or it might come out the following Monday. But remember, we're at 15.1. So there. I mean, look, what else is there to talk about? Is the same story from last week. Crude oil actually was flirting with 120 until the Financial Times reported that the G7 members are looking at considering opening up their strategic petroleum reserves. We're also hearing that Saudi Arabia is considering using pipelines to try and divert some oil away from the Strait of Hormuz elsewhere. So, I mean, I should have actually added European gas futures because they are up about 25%. RBOB gasoline is reblended, oxygenated something, RBOB. It's a proxy for fuel prices in the United States, and you can look at that over three. So prices everywhere. I mean, this is it's an inflationary shock across the world. We understand South Korea is considering subsidies. They want to cap fuel prices. President Lee Jae-myung was speaking this morning in an emergency cabinet meeting. They're looking at a supplementary budget in Korea. Japan has not decided yet whether it is going to open up its strategic petroleum reserves because, a lot of countries are hedging because they don't know how long this could go for. Also, this is also feeding into Asian markets. I mean, you can see the Kospi here. The Kospi circuit breaker was actually triggered again today because it fell as much as 8%, then pared back some of its losses. But as you can see, just across the board, it's just red everywhere. I think the Nikkei now is in a technical correction, falling by about 10% from its peak in February. So you're just seeing, because Asia is so dependent on energy oil that comes from the Middle East. So these stocks are just getting pounded. Bond yields are down. Gold is even down because the dollar is up. I think the reasoning behind that is that if you have inflation going up in the U.S. and the Federal Reserve is forced to hike interest rates, that pushes up U.S. securities and increases demand for the dollar. So dollar index is actually high. So you got a dollar getting stronger, emerging market currencies getting weaker, fears of inflation. It's just. And President Trump, I hear they are planning on a special operation to go and seize uranium or whatever in Iran with boots on the ground. He hasn't given the go-ahead on that. As you all have spoken about, they've already picked a new supreme leader, basically thumbing their nose in the face of the U.S. So this doesn't look like there's any escalation in the near term. I mentioned China inflation. That actually was boosted by the lunar holiday, which was much longer this time. I think February the 15th to the 23rd. So CPI, I think, is a 3-year high. 1.3% in China. The forecast was for 0.8, and January was 0.2. PPI, though, the producer price is still in a deflation territory, 0.9% fall, but not as bad as the 1.2. But again, everyone is pointing to the fact that the lunar holiday, boosted consumption and so on, and you got a little bit of demand pull inflation. So Nigeria, I mean, everyone should out there. There's some video, I saw a viral video of a man screaming. It sounded like he was in Delta State or Edo, that they want to punish us. They want to punish us. Fuel is at, he said it was 1,002 there. But Lagos prices are ranging between 1,015 to 1,057. Although director of news, I was just speaking to him just a moment ago. He was telling me in Oyo it's about 1,004. Diesel is at 1,004 now. It was 990 on Thursday. I'm coming at Lagos now. It went to 120 or 1,200 on Friday, and now it's at 1,004. Dangote Refinery has dismissed reports that they've stopped loading at the refinery. There were some reports out there that they've halted loading because they wanted to review prices, but the head of communication says that is not true. Loading continues. But remember the press release they put out when they said they were reviewing prices upward, and they said they were absorbing a 20% of the cost. That was before oil hit 100. So just viewers, just so you know, the reason why oil prices are up, we have a deregulated market. It is the war, as if that's not obvious enough, it's this U.S.-Israeli war. And then finally, the Lagos International Financial Center, with the goal is to get Lagos to become a global financial hub. A joint effort between the Lagos State Government, Enterprise NGR, City UK. They're currently in phase 2 implementation. They were in Cambridge University not too long ago. We actually sat down with Aigboje Aigimokude, who is the board chair of Enterprise NGR. We'll play the full interview on the Global Business Report. I asked him about the turmoil that the Dubai Financial Center is facing with all the rocket attacks there now. Talked about a lot, but here it is just talking about the vision of the Lagos International Financial Center.
International financial centers are jurisdictions, legal jurisdictions around the world, within countries, usually a city, where very deliberate steps have been taken to make that jurisdiction very attractive to institutions and investors, financial institutions, asset managers, banks, and as well as investors. And because of the characteristics of this jurisdiction, people find it to be a safe place by which you go and make investments and you look for returns. And so you think about London, you think about Singapore, you think in the UAE, you have Dubai, in Africa, you have Morocco and Mauritius. And all of these cities within countries have become international financial centers that have witnessed significant inflow of international capital as a result of specific steps they have taken to make their destinations attractive for those who are seeking safe returns.
All right, so we'll play the rest of that on the Global Business Report. That's our updates for today.
All right, thank you very much, Rotus. No space for chat, so says the executive producer. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
Yeah, market forces. I hope we will survive market forces with the rising price of pump price of fuel.